May those assembled here today enjoy the offerings of Rotary. May we abide by the rules we've established, those of trust, fellowship, and ethics, and may we place service above self in our daily endeavors. May we always test ourselves and our efforts to be sure that they are the truth, good for all concerned, of benefit to mankind, and provide peace and understanding. Amen. With that, we will get on to our program. Tonight we have Sherry Adlin from South Shore Stars, and I came across this group through Liz Klein from the Hingham Rotary Association, who spoke at our meeting several weeks ago. And with that, I will give you Sherry Adlin.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm going to start by making a very bold statement that South Shore Stars is a vital contributor to the South Shore economy. And for 3 reasons. We employ about 120 people, 30 of whom or so are college students, so we are enabling them to go to college and then successfully become whatever they want to be. We enable about 1,500 parents each year to work. It's a lot of folks, most of them local. And we support the healthy development of over 1,200 children each year. That's our future workforce, who we'll all depend upon. Quick overview of the agency. We serve pregnant women through high school seniors in a variety of different programs. Our programs are in Weymouth, Quincy, and Randolph. About 80% of our families are the working poor. They're working full-time. They're struggling to pay the rent. And some of our programs are free, but many of them are on a sliding fee based on family size and income. So families contribute, but they couldn't possibly pay the full cost of our services. About 40% of our families are recent immigrants, and we support them in lots of ways. Some of them we get into ESOL programs and a variety of other programs so that they can become citizens eventually. 25% of our children are involved with the Department of Children and Families, and you all have been hearing a lot about, reading a lot recently about some of the tragedies. We're about preventing those tragedies because we're supporting those children to either remain at home, but they're monitored through our programs, or we're supporting those children in other programs. Foster care, so a foster parent can work and still take care of those children, or kids who are really needing a lot of services, maybe in group homes, but they're coming to us for other supports. And about 20% of our children start our programs with developmental delays, and we get them on track. So they leave our programs if they're young, ready to succeed in school, and if they're already in school, so that they can in fact succeed in school. So our history, so we're 45 years old. We just had our birthday August 6th this year. And we started, like many other programs like us throughout the country, Lyndon Johnson's War on Poverty. There had been federal support of child care during World War II. And when Rosie the Riveter went home, those dollars dried up. But Lyndon Johnson recognized if he was going to end poverty, it was a great idea, a great vision, didn't quite happen, but that child care was necessary. So there were lots of dollars then for agencies like ours. In 1972, not much after that, Congress, there was a bipartisan bill that went to Richard Nixon's desk and he vetoed it. But it would have been comprehensive child care for all the kids and all the children and families in the country. Unfortunately, he vetoed it, and since then, we're left with a patchwork. Many families can't find care, and those parents, and think about it, how many of you are parents? Parents, yes. Grandparents. So think about if you couldn't afford childcare, what would you have to do? You're choosing between working, which you have to do, right, to support your family, or the health and safety of your kids. Those aren't choices that any parent should make. Um, and if there are programs, there are many of them lack the resources to really provide the kind of care they should to children. And what winds up happening because of the underfunding of programs like ours is that throughout the country, it's really our teachers who are subsidizing care because salaries for childcare workers are so low. Childcare workers are among the lowest paid people in the country. And what it leads to is a high turnover of staff in lots of programs. And so that leads to not very good care, not the kind of care you'd want your kids, your grandchildren to have. And this is in spite of a bunch of things. So there's lots and lots and lots of research supporting the importance of the kinds of programs that stars and agencies like us do. There's a famous study. Have any of you heard? It's often quoted. So for $1 spent on quality early education, $7 are saved. But it's based on a 40-year longitudinal study. So there are children that attended a program, not like ours, in Ypsilanti, Michigan. Those children have been followed for the last 40 years, not children anymore, obviously. There was a control group, so this is a scientific study. And there's a control group of kids that look just like, those families look just like the families in this particular program, but they didn't receive the program, and they've been compared over 40 years. And the kids who were in the program have done significantly better. And so that $7 saved is based on not having to pay for special education for those children graduating high school, college, not going to prison, not being teen moms, all of those kinds of things. They've been very successful. And the reason was because they attended a quality child care program. There's also lots and lots of brain research now that talks about the importance of the first 5 years of life and the importance of being in really good early childhood programs. And it matters. It matters, it matters, it matters, it matters. And there's other research that says that kids who are in good after-school programs do better in school. So with all that research, what's important for a good program? Well, all kids benefit from good early childhood programs or good after-school programs or good youth programs, but it's the kids that we serve, most of whom are living in poverty or just above poverty, or they've experienced trauma. Remember those 25% of our kids who have been abused or neglected, or that they have developmental delays. Those kids really need programs. So my kids, your kids, nursery school or not nursery school, wouldn't really matter. The kids that we serve in our programs, absolutely, it matters. And those programs have to be affordable. They have to have the hours that will support parents working. They have to be year-round, and they've got to not only take care of kids, they've got to provide supports for families. Young children need programs that have teachers that are really educated. So, those low salaries and all that turnover is not really good for young children. They need to be in classrooms that have small group sizes. Remember what a 3-year-old needs? Doesn't need to be in a program with 25 kids, right? There has to be a research-based curriculum. They have to be assessed. Now, 3-year-olds don't test very well. 4-year-olds don't test very well. Anyone who tells you they can test a 4-year-old, they're full of baloney. But you can assess children's developmental growth over time if you're trained and you're using the right tools. For youth, for older kids, what's critical are two things: relationships, right? Kids that we have in our programs, many of them don't have an adult with a positive relationship until they come to our program. And they have to be engaged in things that they really want to do. Because those kids, they walk with their feet, we always say. And if you don't have those two things, they're going to walk. So stars, what makes us special? You know? So I've told you all the things that are needed, right? Or programs that really don't have those. So there are a number of things. So like all parents, stars parents and grandparents, because we have a lot of kids now, a significant portion of our kids are being cared for by their grandparents, want the same things for their children as other parents. They want their children to grow up happy and healthy with the inner resources to pursue their dreams. And parents choose our programs, many of them because of our diversity. About 60% of our kids are from racial and ethnic minorities. What's special about us is the comprehensiveness of our programs. I started telling you that. So not only do we serve kids from infancy all the way through high school, but we serve the entire family. So we have family counseling, we have parent education, and we help parents access services so that they can become economically self-sufficient and really be able to care for their family. In your I've got a packet for you that has a bunch of success stories in it. And I thought I had that story right here, but I don't see it, so I'm going to see if I can remember it. I'll tell you one story of one of our early Head Start families. So this is a immigrant family, Haitian immigrant family, actually coming after the hurricane in Haiti and winding up in Randolph, mother and father and 2 children. They got involved in our program. Mom actually was pregnant with her 2nd child when they got involved in our program. We connected them early to an ESOL program so they could learn English. We helped the mom connect to a CNA program so that she could get a credential so that she could work in a nursing home. And we provided them with lots of other support services. And they've succeeded and they've thrived. And there are many, many, many families like them that we've worked with. So it's that comprehensiveness. Here she is. This is the Pierre family. We have a capacity to both evaluate our programs and improve our programs. We're never satisfied with who we are and what we do. We're always looking to see how we can do it better and serve our families better. I'm going to tell you about one of our programs, though, because lots of folks associate us with little kids. But we have a pretty wonderful high school program at Randolph High School. I'm going to tell you a little about it. It's called Youth in Motion, and it's 8 years old now. And we started that program, again, based on research. We're very research-driven. And so what the research said was that 9th grade retention, being held back in 9th grade, is the indicator for kids dropping out of high school. Makes some sense, right? Because if you're held back then, your peers are going on, you kind of give up, right? And remember, these high school kids can walk with their feet. They don't have to stay. And Randolph High has a very high high school dropout rate. It's gotten a little bit better, but over the same period that we've been in Randolph High School, it's been about 75% graduation. It's something to be proud of, right? And so we came in to do a program for 30 ninth graders that the high school identified. Either eighth grade teachers identified they were at risk of 9th grade retention, or some of them had been already retained in 9th grade. And we started a program with them. And here's our brag. We've had 4 graduating classes. Of those 4 graduating classes, only 1 of our students didn't graduate. And we're very proud of that. And it's because of the the connections we make with the kids and the support that we give them, and it's relationship, relationship, relationship. But we do a lot of work with them. They come in, they've got to have an agenda book. We check to make sure that all their assignments are in their agenda book. We work with teachers. We make sure that they do their homework. We teach them organizational skills, and we engage them in all kinds of activities so that we have a music production. We've actually developed a music studio right in the high school for these kids. We do all kinds of digital media stuff. We really do stuff that they really like. And so the first year, those ninth graders then petitioned the Department of Education that was funding our program because they wanted to stay for a second year. They didn't want it just to be ninth grade. So we have figured out how to do that a little bit. Some of them are mentors to the younger kids. We've gotten some additional funding so that the older kids can stay and do all kinds of different clubs. And what we do with our upperclassmen is that they then bring their skills to our elementary school age kids, our after school program, so that they may run a robotics club, they may do digital media, they may do dance, and then we pay them a stipend to do that. So it really then, they're giving back, and it's wonderful when they're doing homework help to hear them say the very same things to the second grader that we've been saying to them in high school about, how to, stay focused and all the kinds of things you have to do and how important homework is. So it's a wonderful thing. And our younger kids adore these older kids. One story I'll tell you about that program. We have a young man whose name is, I'll call him Jason, who was actually in our younger kid program and was not doing well for lots and lots of reasons. He was being raised by a grandmother who was having a really, really hard time with him. And he got into our ninth grade program. And he almost didn't make it through ninth grade, but then he started to really flourish. And he graduated from high school. And when he graduated, he told our staff that without stars, he probably would have been in jail. He would have gotten sucked up by the streets. He went to work. We got him into community college. He is working now. This is now 3-4 years later for one of our after-school programs. He's going to Quincy College. He wants to be an early childhood teacher, and he's doing incredibly well. He's one of many stories. About 6 of our staff right now were kids in our program, including one of our center directors. So how do we do it? With inadequate public funding. Remember I told you we don't get enough money from the government. We do it in a variety of ways. We have an extraordinarily robust volunteer program. We have hundreds of volunteers that volunteer thousands of hours for us each year. And doing all kinds of things, lots of maintenance work, cleaning up our playground. We run a summer camp out at Hale Reservation, trustees of the reservation. And we have hundreds of volunteers that come out and clean that camp up for us every summer and close it down every fall. It's all those kinds of things that we do that we don't have to use then agency resources to do that. We are a United Way affiliate, a very proud United Way affiliate, and United Way likes us a lot, I think, and really is a very big supporter. And we do a lot of private fundraising. And we manage very, very tightly. And our resources go into our program. So I'm going to end with, and I'm glad to take some questions if you have any, but you see our tagline for our logo is excellence in early education, enrichment, and family support. We think those 3 things are very tied, and we are very proud that we think we, in fact, do exactly what our tagline says. And we're vital to the economy of the South Shore, but I'll tell you one more thing, I guess, before I end, which is something that has stuck with me for a long time. I've been in this business for many, many years, and when I was much younger, in my 20s, I was interviewing for a job in a small town in northern New Hampshire. They were starting a child care center. People in the community were doing that. and they were interviewing me to be the center director. And one of the people on the committee, um, she didn't have any kids. Everybody else did. That's why, you always have a selfish reason for doing something, right? These were parents who wanted a program for their own children. And I asked her why she was so invested in this. And she looked at me and she said, well, someday she would be much older. She might be in a nursing home, and she wanted to have good care. And she knew if the kids in her community got good care now, they would give her good care in the future. And so now, as I'm getting older and thinking about that, it's really important. So we are raising the next generations, and we've been doing it for a very long time, and I think we do a very good job. So thank you. And I'm glad to answer any questions that you might have.
You talked about young kids, but you have kids up through seniors in high school?
Yes.
And does it go beyond that at all?
Well, it goes beyond with the kid called Jason, who's now working for us. So it may go very much beyond that. Not everybody and not every child. We've had one of our kids came onto our board of directors many years later, and was a tremendous ambassador for us because he talked about how we had turned his life around, and he's now a very successful, financial planner, and a big supporter of what we do. But and the family support that we do, obviously, is very important. We do lots and lots of work with families. We have 4 licensed social workers on our staff who not only help our teachers meet the needs of our kids, but really work with our parents.
How about students with special needs?
Yes.
Mentally, physically?
Absolutely. We've got, like I said, about 20% of our kids have identified developmental delays, and it's the spectrum. So probably the most disabled little guy we had came to us as a toddler and was told, his parents were told that he would never walk. He was on a belly board. He took his first steps in our toddler classroom. He didn't stay with us because he then went on to a program when he got to be a preschooler that was really designed for kids with some very serious handicap. He also said his first word in our toddler classroom, and they said he would never talk. So we do some pretty amazing things. We have kids with autism. We have kids with hearing. We're totally inclusionary, so but we are able, with our resources that we have, to provide some very special supports to kids. We do individual plans for almost every one of our kids.
How do people find out about you?
I used to joke and say we're the best kept secret in town in some ways. I mean, how many of you had ever heard about South Shore Stars before I came here today? Oh, there you go. Do you have kids with us? No, okay, but you just had heard about it. Okay. I often, go someplace and someone says, my child, my niece, my nephew, my grandchild. Folks like you find out about, my talking or lots of things like that. Our families find out about us very much word to mouth, because their neighbor, because their aunt, because somebody tells them about us. We have a website. There is a statewide, there's a network of agencies called Child Care Resource and Referral Agencies that refer families who are looking for care for us. We have a very long waiting list, so people find us. There are always families waiting for our programs.
I do know that the school system recommends students for STAR.
Yes, that's exactly right. Thank you. And other agencies. I should have added that. School system, clearly, in the communities that we are. But also lots of other agencies, mental health agencies, agencies that work with families that are confronting all kinds of issues, domestic violence, agencies that support refugees, all of those. And so we are, we serve a very broad spectrum of families. So when I said to you 80%, certainly there's a significant amount of families who pay tuition to send their kids because of the quality of our programs. My kids, who are now grown up, went to our Quincy Preschool Center. My girl now is 24 and has a master's degree, but father, who, you know, he's objective, right, will say the best teacher she ever had were at our Quincy Preschool Center. And some of those teachers are still there that had Hannah when she was a preschooler.
I'm going to thank you.
Thank you.
And if we could just have a little something here for you for
Oh,
coming and
thank
speaking
you.
to us.
Thank you. That's very sweet.
And we'll hand the brochures out.
Thank you. Yeah, I brought some packets, so if people want more information about us, certainly take a packet. Lots of information about all of our programs. Thank you.
Thank you. We're done.